How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today's video we look at one of the more broken Cold War premium tanks that have just come out. It is the T-72M1, the Era 2 Soviet tank, kind of. Well, it's an Eastern Alliance tank, but you all know it as a Russian one. This tank is absolutely unbelievable within the game. It has the best power to weight ratio out of all of the brand new premium tanks. That includes the T-55A. It also includes the BMP. So yes, you have a better power to weight ratio, which means you can get up to top speed faster in a heavy tank than a light tank. So yeah, that pretty much tells you at least something about the T-72M1. And also the damage it can do and the speed at which it can do the damage is pretty unbelievable. Now you see I am using enhanced combat rations. That's to boost up the total damage per minute I can do at specific times within the game, which allow me to just, farm more damage. And I can also increase my view range when I pop it and it becomes active. And yeah, it's really great consumable, probably the most important premium consumable. Of course, you definitely want to have a repair kit and a med kit in every single one of your tanks, unless it's very novel and you're swapping it out for something like fuel boost in a light tank or something like that at the cost of a med kit. Now, moving on with the game, of course we picked up 2,500 damage as well, right at the beginning of the game, which, that's not too much of a thing really, but it's yet to come, the big damage within this game, and certainly we've not taken any damage, which is also a positive. And at this point it is time to move forward, time to get into a better position, because we've kind of used all of our positioning to be able to deal the damage at the early game. Now, we managed to hit the T-72 in the side there, which means we can now just wait until we can get another shot. I thought that was destructible, obviously it wasn't, so we're just going to have to wait until we can hit them again. Hopefully we penetrate. Yes, we do. 520 damage with this gun is fantastic as well, let me say. The alpha damage, now that they've increased the RNG and the maximum damage, or maximum amount of damage you can do above the average damage, means that definitely we're going to be able to have some nice games where you're pulling off those clutch situations where you probably wouldn't have dealt the right amount of damage to your opponent, but now you will no longer have that problem with your low rolling all of the time within World of Tanks. So that's definitely something for you guys that are more interested in the Cold War mode and also just the World War II mode, because they both have them consistently. As we get a big lag spike, hopefully we don't end up side on, but we do. Now, we do hit the MOBAT there, and that's something you'll notice with the T-72M1. It's very similar to the T-72AV. That's, of course, the other Escalation era premium heavy tank from the Eastern Alliance. Now, that's a big mouthful, but yeah, getting back to it, T-72AV, that is a tank that you will 100% want to be able to have. It is probably the better version of this tank, as much as I don't want to say it. It basically has all of the advantages of the T-72, except this one has better accuracy and also accuracy on the move in terms of the dispersion values that you'll be seeing with this tank. However, the AV just has way better armor overall. You're going to be able to bounce a lot more. But let's not take away from this tank the mobility, the speed, the armor. It all does work, and that's something you can't really take away from it. It's just because of the features of the Soviet tanks within Cold War just tend to be better at the moment, other than the exception of a few of the American heavy tanks within the game. But yeah, certainly you'll see that this tank is just unbelievable. The BMP, I have noticed they've been awful, like absolutely dreadful. The new premium light tank is pretty mediocre to, pretty unusable, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's not particularly a tank I would ever recommend. They're not particularly too strong within the game, and when you've got armadillos that are literally just 10 times better than you, they're smaller, they've got better view range, they've got better accuracy, not accuracy, but they've got better camo as well. It just leaves the BMPs a little bit far behind, and so yes, we did manage to pick up a decent game. I was trying to get some more damage in there since we hadn't taken very many, but we did take 7,144 hit points of the enemy team, managed to pick up 422,000 silver in one game, which is unbelievable. Really is the mode to go to if you want to earn some silver. Of course, if you've got a Mobat, if you've got an Armadillo, if you've got any of the Cold War premium tanks, and of course you can pick up premium Cold War vehicles in this season's season pass for 2,000 gold, which I would 100% recommend to any new player, any player that's going to put any time into World of Tanks, Modern Armour, or console, whatever you want to call it. It is the most valuable thing that you can purchase if you're going to spend money. Or if you've just got gold lying around from years ago and you've just come back, yes, purchase the season pass. So it's better than premium time, it's better than premium tanks, because you get all of that combined into one package, and it's only going to cost you, what, £6? Yeah, definitely worth it. And this season is certainly worth it, because you get a tier 8 premium, you've got 2 Cold War premiums, and you've also got a variety of other premiums, tier 2s and 3s that don't really matter, but they're in there for you. And of course, we will move into the next gameplay here of the T-72M1 and show you a little bit more of what this tank can do in World of Tanks. So here we are on Westfield, not particularly the best map for a heavy tank, at least not traditionally. Of course, Cold War is not your traditional game mode, and you're going to be seeing some significant changes within Cold War in the next couple of months. Of course, it was announced that we would be somewhat getting maybe some new tanks at the end of the year. That will be pretty good. I think medium tanks are certainly the tanks that we'll be wanting to actually get in Cold War, because there aren't too many of them. They're really crucial to be able to play with. And yeah, I just feel like they've been kind of allowing the light tanks to kind of have this horrible meta advantage where they are just so good within Cold War. I think when the medium tanks come in, it will kind of hinder them from just being able to out-traverse and outmaneuver every single tank in the game. And so the mediums will come as kind of a balance card to the light tanks. So if you're interested in taking advantage of the light tanks, then I would do so right now, as of the recording this video, until the next medium tank lines come into the game. Of course, we do have some tanks like the Patterns at the Escalation era too, but they're not realistically particularly great medium tanks, and they probably aren't going to be able to combat the Armadillos that well. But yeah. So what's in this game? Well, of course we want to be able to deal as much damage as possible, and of course take out as many enemies in the game as possible, because that is the objective. And I never like capping. I think it is one of the most boring aspects of World of Tanks. Yes, if I seriously have the only option to cap to win, or if I'm really trying to get a win or something like that, yes, I may cap, but for the most part, I always try and deal as much damage, because not only am I affecting my own game if I cap too early, and if it's also affecting the other players on my team and also the enemy team. I just think it's not a very fun mechanic for anyone involved. But yeah, I think it's definitely something to think about when you're playing World of Tanks. You do need to keep an eye on the cap circles. You do need to keep an eye on when you need to cap. It doesn't happen very often that you need to. And often you can actually just use the cap circle as a means to actually get the enemy tanks to kind of come towards you or move towards you. And you'll probably see that in a few of the gameplays that I do eventually on the channel. And if you have watched some previously, of course we've got loads of gameplay on the channel of various different tanks. You'll see the most recent ones being the Object 279E, the most broken premium tank, or reward tank, whatever you want to call it, on World of Tanks console. Well, that's what it's titled. Is it or is it not? Well, you'll just have to kind of find out by watching the video, or just letting me know in the comment section down below if you played it. Now, this game, how are we doing in terms of damage? How much have we actually dished out? Well, we've dished out 3,000 damage so far. Of course, we picked up a little bit of assistance, nothing major, but you know, we kind of have to take that into account when we're deciding what next to do, because if you've done too little damage within World of Tanks, then you want to be able to get into a position that you're going to be able to deal more damage, because yeah, being in a horrible position where you feel like you've not done enough and you're trying to get towards, say, a mark of excellence or something like that, then it really does push you on to try and do something new, try and really push out that last bit of damage and just do better overall. Now, 4,700 damage now, make that 5,300 as we hit the T-72, just basically the worst version of me because a premium tank and everything like that. But yeah, I just find that this tank is so good, it's so consistent for earning you silver because it is just a consistent tank overall. You're going to be able to deal lots of damage every single game because you have the hit points to be able to trade. Even if you're not the best player in World of Tanks, you'll still be able to have good games. And so, yeah, it's just one of those that I think every player should maybe get your hands on one of these Russian Era 2 heavy tanks. They're certainly something I've enjoyed playing. And for someone that doesn't particularly enjoy playing heavy tanks in the current mode on World War II, yeah, I think it's a breath of fresh air to actually have tanks that can bounce shots, although not necessarily that many. But yeah, it is fun and it's interesting to be doing on console at least. I've been playing a little bit of PC recently, just trying to get some gameplays, trying to get better. I'm not particularly the best player in the world. I just find the spotting mechanics a little difficult, especially when I've been dealing with the console spotting mechanics, whereby if you have Sixth Sense, you actually get instantly detected, but on PC, of course, you have that little 3 seconds before it alerts you to the fact that you're spotted. In terms of where I would go with this tank, is it worth the price tag? Is it worth spending your money on getting the Ultimate Season Pass? Well, if you're going to purchase a premium tank and you were going to pay full price for a premium tank, then yeah, this is definitely one I would recommend. I cannot highly recommend it because it is very expensive, and you can also get a lot more premium tanks within one bundle on the World War II mode. Yes, you cannot get them in a bundle on the Cold War mode yet, but I would expect that in some near time that you will be able to do that. We managed to pick up that damaging hit on the T-72AV there, which means that you know, we can progress now, and we're going to do that. But getting back to the point, the premium tanks, well, yes, it is worth it if you are playing Cold War, or alternatively, if you just want to make a butt ton of credits, then yes, this tank is absolutely perfect for you. You will earn so many credits with this tank. I have, over the games, maybe I've played 15 games in this thing maximum. I've earned maybe 3-4 million silver in total from playing this tank. It allows me to then jump onto the World War II mode, swap them out, play them, and then I can basically get on with making videos for you guys with all of the various equipment that I always put on the tanks. And that's kind of the key thing that I've been struggling with recently, is enabling me to actually play the tanks competitively, to be able to show you what they can do at their full potential, because I don't want to be showcasing a tank with no equipment or none of the good consumables because I'm broke on console. But yeah, I think that that's something that these tanks are great for, and definitely all of the premium Cold War vehicles, especially ones that grant you 60% bonus silver, which a lot of them do. This one only gives you 55%. But it certainly makes up for that in the fact that you can consistently deal that huge amounts of damage and just perform better overall anyway. So it doesn't really matter for you, at least, with regards to earning silver. You saw these game results. I've been earning 400,000 silver. I did have on my account a 1.5 times silver XP boost, which I'm sure many of you do have, and you can get them from the Season Pass too. So if you do want to be able to pick it up, then you can. And yeah, that's the game. That's 7,976 damage with this Escalation Era T-72M1 heavy tank. And yeah, really good tank, really consistent. I've probably managed to average 6k damage, maybe slightly higher, not entirely sure, but you can definitely see from the results, you know, that's an 8.7k combined damage game. It's not particularly an amazing game where you're going to be going, bloody hell, that was ridiculous. But it is a game to kind of showcase what the tank's about, showcase where you can use it, the mobility of the tank, how it handles in game, and hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you do think that this is broken, or do you think it's kind of in line with the other Cold War tanks in the game, let me know in the comment section down below, and of course answer the title yourself in the comments. So there we go, thanks very much for watching, thank you very much to the channel members for subscribing to the channel and giving a little bit extra. And I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.